The story begins in a quiet, suburban neighborhood where everything seems perfectly ordinary. The main character, Anna, is a single mother who has recently moved into an old, modest house with her young daughter, Mia. They are looking for a fresh start after leaving behind a city filled with memories of loss and pain. Anna is trying her best to build a stable life for Mia, but her own lingering fears from the past have made her more cautious than usual. The house, though charming, is in need of repairs and has an oddly cold atmosphere. But Anna believes it is the perfect place to begin anew. Mia, on the other hand, seems far more at ease with their new surroundings, often wandering around the house with an innocent curiosity that Anna does not fully understand. Little do they know, this seemingly peaceful home is hiding secrets that will soon unravel their sense of safety. One evening, after settling in for the night, Anna hears what sounds like the faint murmur of Mia talking to someone. At first, Anna brushes it off, assuming Mia is simply playing with her toys in her room. As Anna walks past the door, she hears Mia's voice, clearer now. But she is not speaking to anyone that Anna can see. The tone of the conversation feels strange, as if Mia is replying to questions only she can hear. When Anna opens the door to check on her, she finds Mia sitting on the floor in the middle of her room, surrounded by her dolls and stuffed animals, staring blankly at the empty corner. "Mia, who are you talking to?" Anna asks, a little unsettled by the sight. Mia shrugs with a half-smile. "Just my friend, Mommy." Anna, a little confused but not overly concerned, simply says, "There is no one there, sweetheart." She chalks it up to imagination. After all, Mia had always had an active imagination. But the hairs on the back of Anna's neck prickle. The unease lingers, even as she tucks Mia into bed and tries to shake off the feeling that something is not quite right. The unsettling thought remains, but Anna dismisses it as a fluke. A few days later, the strange occurrences escalate. One morning, Anna enters Mia's room to find her favorite stuffed bear, Mr. Cuddles, sitting upright on the shelf, despite having left it on the floor the night before. It is such a small thing, but the sight of it sends a chill through Anna. She assumes Mia must have moved it, though the little girl has no memory of doing so. Later that week, the house grows quieter, and Anna starts hearing faint scratching sounds from the walls, almost like someone is tapping. But there is no one around. She dismisses it as old house noises, though a shiver crawls up her spine every time it happens. That night, while preparing dinner, Anna is drawn to the living room. She finds the lights flickering just for a moment, before going back to normal. Then, something even stranger happens. The door to Mia's room swings open slowly, creaking as it moves, even though no one is near it. Anna's heart races as she walks cautiously toward the door. When she peeks inside, Mia is sitting on the floor, her back to Anna, humming softly. "Mia, what are you doing?" Anna asks, her voice shaking slightly. Mia doesn't turn around. "I'm waiting for him," she replies softly. The unease that has been slowly growing in Anna's mind explodes. The sensation of being watched feels heavier now, more pressing, like an invisible presence is looming in every corner. Yet, Anna cannot explain it. Her mind refuses to accept what feels so impossible. So she continues to convince herself it is just an overactive imagination. But deep down, she knows this is no coincidence. Something is wrong. The unsettling events that Anna has been brushing off become undeniable. Late one night, while she's cleaning up in the kitchen, she hears a faint voice, not Mia's, coming from the direction of the hallway. The voice is hushed, whispering her name. Anna. She freezes. It's not Mia's voice. The whisper is low, but unmistakably clear. She turns around, expecting to see Mia standing there, but the hallway is empty. A cold draft fills the room, and the lights flicker. Anna's heart pounds as she moves toward the hallway, trying to steady her breathing. As she steps closer to Mia's room, a loud bang rings out from inside. The door to Mia's room slams open on its own. Her stomach drops. Inside the room, Mia is standing in the center, her back to Anna once more. This time, she's holding Mr. Cuddles in her arms, her face blank, staring at the corner of the room where there is no one. The same voice that whispered Anna's name now echoes again, but louder. Mia, come to me. The voice is distorted, unnatural. Terror grips Anna. She rushes toward Mia, shaking her. But the child does not respond. Suddenly, the toy shelf tips over and dozens of toys come crashing to the floor, the sound deafening in the silence. Anna screams, but her voice is swallowed by the overwhelming presence that fills the room. In that moment, she knows, without a doubt, that this is no mere imagination. It is something far worse, something that has a hold on Mia, and possibly on their entire house. Anna tries to pull Mia to safety, but her body is frozen, as though the very air is against her. Desperation rises, but with no clear way to escape the nightmare that is unfolding around her. She realizes there is no turning back. They are trapped. After that night, Anna and Mia left the house. They stayed with Anna's sister for a while, trying to recover from the terror they had experienced. But even after they moved, the unease never truly left. One evening, as Anna sat alone in her new apartment, she heard it again. The whisper, faint but unmistakable, echoing through the empty space. Anna. It was the same voice, the same chilling tone from the house. She rushed to check, but there was nothing. No one there. Anna's heart raced as she tried to dismiss it, telling herself it was just her imagination. But deep down, she knew it wasn't. The feeling of being watched, the cold drafts, the whispers, it was all still there, lurking in the corners of her life. A few nights later, Mia came to Anna, her face pale and eyes wide. Mom, Mr. Cuddles said he wants to go home. Anna froze. The horrors they had escaped seemed to follow them, like a shadow that would not let them go. In the silence that followed, the whispers began once more. This time, from the closet. We had just moved into a quiet neighborhood on the edge of town. The kind of place where kids rode their bikes in the street and neighbors waved from their porches. My husband had picked the house for its big backyard. I loved the kitchen windows that overlooked it. Everything felt safe. Our daughter, Lily, was 5. Curious, bright, always asking questions. We had been trying to get a little time to ourselves lately, maybe just one night out. That is when we thought of hiring a babysitter. I posted in a local parenting group online. A young woman named Claire replied within minutes. Polite, experienced, available that weekend. It felt easy, too easy maybe. Claire arrived right on time that Saturday evening. She looked young, maybe 21 or 22, wearing a loose cardigan and jeans. Her voice was soft, almost too soft. Lily warmed up to her quickly, which put me at ease. Before leaving, I gave her the usual rundown. Bedtime was at 8, snacks were in the cupboard, and our number was on the fridge. As we stepped out the door, I glanced back and saw Claire just standing there, not waving, not smiling, just staring at us leave. It felt off for a second. I told myself maybe she was just shy. New people sometimes take a while to open up. I brushed it off. The next morning, I noticed something strange. Lily's favorite stuffed bunny, the one she always clutched at bedtime, was on the living room floor. It was damp, as if someone had taken it outside. When I asked Lily about it, she said, "Claire took Bunny for a walk." I laughed at first, thinking it was just a game. But then Lily added, "She said Bunny does not like when Mommy comes home." That made me stop. I asked her what she meant, but she had already moved on to her cereal. Claire had already left by then. She said everything went well in her text. Still, something pulled at me. I replayed Lily's words again and again. Bunny does not like when Mommy comes home. Why would she say that? That evening, my husband and I came back early from dinner. We walked in through the front door expecting laughter or maybe the sound of a cartoon playing. The house was silent. Too silent. I called out for Claire. No answer. Then I called for Lily. Nothing. I rushed upstairs, my chest tightening with every step. Lily's room was empty. Her blanket was on the floor. Her shoes were missing. That is when I noticed the back door, unlocked. I ran outside, yelling Lily's name, my voice cracking with panic. Our backyard led into the woods, and the porch light barely lit the edge of the trees. Then I saw them. Claire, holding Lily's hand, walking slowly toward the woods. Claire looked back when she heard me scream. Her face was different. Cold, blank. She did not stop. I sprinted, screaming Lily's name. She turned, saw me, and started crying. Claire let go of her hand and ran. Ran into the trees like she had done this before. I ran faster than I ever thought possible, my heart hammering in my chest. My mind was racing. Why? Why would she do this? I could hear Lily's sobs behind me, but I could not stop. I had to reach her before Claire disappeared into the woods. I caught up to Claire near the edge of the trees, grabbing her arm with all the strength I could muster. "What are you doing?" I shouted, panic and confusion mixing in my voice. She did not react. Her eyes were cold, void of any recognition, like she didn't even know me. "She needs to come with me," Claire said, her voice flat like she had rehearsed it 1,000 times. I pulled harder, feeling my skin tear from the rough grip of her hand. Lily was still crying, her voice weak and trembling. "Please," I screamed, trying to drag her back. But Claire shoved me off with surprising strength. I stumbled back, gasping for air, as Claire took off into the darkness. Lily clung to me, her sobs cutting through the silence of the night. Claire was gone. But what did this mean? Why? Where did she go? It was only the beginning. The next morning, we sat in silence, the weight of everything hanging between us. Claire was gone, vanished without a trace. No one at the agency even knew her name. She wasn't a babysitter we hired, and that thought made my stomach turn. I couldn't shake the image of her cold, emotionless eyes when she looked at me, like she had planned this for a long time. We never found out who she really was or what she wanted, and I still wonder if she was watching us, waiting for something. As I held Lily close, I realized one terrifying truth. She was never supposed to leave, but she did. And I will never forget the feeling of that moment when we were all almost too late. I am Sarah. I live in a small town with my 6-year-old son, Ethan. We moved here a couple of years ago after I got a new job as a graphic designer. It's been a peaceful life so far, nothing too out of the ordinary. Ethan is a happy kid. He loves his video games and always looks forward to when I make his favorite spaghetti on Sundays. Our days are simple. I get up early to work, Ethan goes to school, and by the time I come home in the evening, we spend some time together. I'm used to the quiet here. It's a place where nothing really happens, which I've come to appreciate. But sometimes, even in the quiet, things can be unsettling. A few days ago, I began noticing something strange. At night, after Ethan had fallen asleep, I would hear faint footsteps from upstairs. It wasn't always the same. Sometimes it was a light shuffle. Other times a tap, 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 almost as if someone was walking around. I'd go up to check, but every time the hallway was empty. The house is old, so maybe it was just the creaking of the floorboards. But it wasn't just the sound that bothered me. It was the timing. Always late at night, when the house was completely still. I mentioned it to Ethan once, but he just shrugged it off, saying it was probably the house settling. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. I brushed it off, though. Old houses do weird things, right? Last night, the sound of footsteps returned. This time, they were heavier, more deliberate. I got up from the couch and quietly walked upstairs to check. The air felt colder than usual, almost as if the temperature had dropped a few degrees. When I reached the top, everything seemed normal. Ethan's door was shut just as I had left it. But then, I noticed something else. His bedroom light was flickering. Not much, just enough to catch my attention. I knocked softly, trying to keep my voice steady. "Ethan? Everything okay?" There was no answer. I pushed the door open slowly, but my heart sank as I looked inside. Ethan was asleep, curled up under his blanket. But why did I feel so uneasy? I couldn't explain it. But something felt off. The air around me was too still, and the shadows in the room seemed to stretch unnaturally. Was I imagining it? Maybe it was just my exhaustion playing tricks on me. I told myself to relax. But that nagging feeling, it wouldn't go away. Something didn't sit right. The next morning, Ethan was unusually quiet. He would not touch his breakfast, and when I asked him what was wrong, he just stared at me. Then, in the softest voice, he said, "Mommy, you died yesterday." I froze. I crouched beside him, trying to smile. "What do you mean, sweetheart?" He looked at me with those wide, innocent eyes. "You were lying on the floor. You were not moving. There was blood. I saw it." A chill spread through my body. I tried to laugh it off, but his voice grew serious. "I saw it on the camera. You should check. You did not wake up." He pointed toward the hallway security monitor. I hesitated. My fingers were trembling as I pulled up the footage from the previous night. I watched myself walk into the kitchen, then out of frame. Seconds later, the camera flickered, and there I was, lying on the floor, eyes open, motionless. Time stamped, 2:13 a.m., but I remembered nothing. My throat dried as I fast-forwarded. There was no movement for hours, until 5:46 a.m., when I suddenly stood up again, stiff, unnatural, and walked away. I do not remember any of it. But Ethan saw it all, and now I am terrified to sleep again. My fingers slipped off the mouse as the footage stopped. I could not breathe. My chest felt tight. I turned to look at Ethan. He was standing silently by the door, watching me. I rushed to him, scooping him into my arms. "We are going to Grandma's," I whispered, trying to sound calm, but I could hear the shake in my own voice. I grabbed my phone. My hands were trembling too much to dial. I finally managed to call my mother. No answer. I looked outside. The sun was shining. But everything felt wrong. I packed a small bag, still trying to convince myself it had to be a glitch, a dream, something I misunderstood. But deep down, I knew it was not. I took one last glance at the hallway camera. The screen was black. I grabbed the keys and rushed out with Ethan. I did not even lock the door. I just needed to get away. From the house, from the footage, from whatever version of me got up that morning before I did. Whatever was inside. It was not me, and I did not know if it ever left. The officers came shortly after I called them from my mother's house. I told them everything about the camera footage, the voice Ethan heard, and the figure that looked like me walking through the hallway. They searched the house, every room, every corner. They found nothing. No signs of forced entry, no signs of tampering. The footage was gone too, wiped clean, as if it had never existed. One of the officers suggested I might be under stress. I nodded, but I knew better. That night, I tucked Ethan into bed at my mother's place. He looked up at me and said, "Mommy, the other you did not smile like you do." I tried to laugh it off, tried to act brave. But now, every time I pass a mirror, I stare a little longer, just to be sure it is really me staring back. Because what if it comes back? What if it never left? And worse, what if the one that walked out was not really me at all? Last night, I heard Ethan whisper through the baby monitor again. He said, "Mommy, she is back, but she is standing outside your window this time. I live on the 4th floor, and I never opened that window, not once.